team that wants him, they want to be able to get something for him. So the best way of doing that would probably be for the owner of the 49ers to put the word out that, you know what, we're just fine keeping him here. So if some team wants him, if you want him now, come get him now. The 49ers aren't in any hurry whatsoever to get rid of him and just allow him to control his own path. So I think that was probably the message that Jed York was sending to the 31 other teams, that if you're interested at all, you would have to really wait a long time for him. So if you want him, come get him now and give the 49ers something in return.
Why is this difference so irreconcilable?
I have no idea, and I don't.
Cowboys fans, let's talk about one of the most interesting what-if scenarios on the board right now. What if Brandon Aiyuk really is on his way out of San Francisco and Dallas decides to get involved? Because the transcript you sent paints a situation that has gone cold in a big way. Shanahan moved from saying he was hopeful Aiyuk would be back to basically admitting he had not seen or heard from him in weeks. And Peter Schrager said the assumption around the league had become that Aiyuk was simply not part of the team anymore. That is a major shift, and it is why people are now asking what his next football home could look like. So how could Dallas realistically bring him in? There are really two paths. The first is a trade after June 1, because the cap consequences for San Francisco are easier to manage then. ESPN laid out that post-June 1 handling dramatically softens the 49ers' dead cap pain compared to an earlier move, and multiple reports had pointed to that timing as the likely trigger point for action. The second path would be if San Francisco cuts him loose and he hits the market, but even then Dallas would have to win a bidding and contract structure battle. In either case, the money is the story. Aiyuk is talented enough that nobody is getting him for free in football terms. Now here's where it gets really interesting from a Cowboy standpoint. Dallas already has CeeDee Lamb as the centerpiece and George Pickens on the franchise tag. Jerry Jones has publicly said the team still plans for a long-term future with Pickens, even though there have not been fresh talks. So if Aiyuk ever entered the Dallas conversation, it would probably signal one of two things. Either the Cowboys are not fully convinced the Pickens situation ends the way they want, or they believe Aiyuk's market has dropped enough to justify taking a swing on a distressed asset. That is not impossible at all. Teams do this all the time when they think they can separate player value from situation value. As a football fit, I actually get it. Aiyuk is a cleaner, more nuanced receiver than people sometimes remember. He can work as a separator, he plays with timing, and even in your transcript they talked about how complete his game had become, including his work as a blocker. Put that next to CD, and suddenly the offense has two very different kinds of stress creators. Lamb bends the coverage, Aiyuk punishes the spacing. That would be a very fun marriage in a Schottenheimer offense if the numbers worked. The problem is roster construction. Dallas has 2 first-round picks and still needs defense badly. The official Cowboys draft guide is already focused on wide receiver prospects too, which tells you the team can add at that spot through the draft at a lower cost. So the question is simple: do you chase a proven but complicated veteran, or do you keep the cap cleaner and the picks intact? That is why this Aiyuk idea is so compelling. It's not just talent, it's risk versus reward. What do you think? Would Brandon Aiyuk be worth the gamble in Dallas, or should the Cowboys stay disciplined and build cheaper around CD? Drop your thoughts below, hit like, and subscribe.